you have some Kenyans who live in the U.S. but close to the Canadian border. We're talking places like Seattle, Washington, Burlington, Vermont, and even some parts of Minnesota. Like Minnesota is also very close to Canada. Are they free to cross the border and register to vote in Canada? We already know that this exercise started last Friday on the 21st of January at the embassy here in DC, and of course the missions in New York and LA. Now, maybe talk to us a bit about how long this exercise is going to last, and maybe what hours and days of the week is your team open for registration, because a lot of people out here in the diaspora may not be aware.
Thank you so much. Registration diaspora is going to take a period of 15 days. We started on 21st of Friday, 21st of January, and it will be ending on 4th of February 2021. We are working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In the embassies.
Mm-hmm.
And this also includes the weekends. So when you're busy during the weekdays, you can also be registered over the weekend.
Okay,
That
let's
includes
slow
Saturday
down
and
there.
Sunday.
So Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m.
Yes.
to 5 p.m.
Yes.
Anyone can walk into the embassy and get registered.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, let me just clarify. We have a registration portal where Kenyans are supposed to register. We know you're busy people, and your time is very valuable in what you do to earn a living here. And to gain that balance between your work life and registration, we provided a portal where you can register so that you don't got to wait when you go to the registration centers. But that does not mean that if you just have time and you're not registered within the portal, you won't be registered. So just pop in during the 5 working days of the week and the weekends as well. So we will be there waiting for you.
Okay, so you heard that 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and the weekends too. Registration is currently ongoing. It's going to be going until the 4th of February. We're talking about the DC, the Kenyan embassy in DC, the mission in New York, and the mission in LA. And at this point, I want to welcome also my co-panelists. We have OneMic Kamakau and we have DJ Moshfire. Let me start with you, DJ Moshfire. Is there any questions or any clarifications you need Miss Joyce to make?
Yeah, for the timings for the weekend, is it also 9 to 5 or is it 10 to 2? Is it what are the timings for the weekend?
Thank you. It's a full working day for us, so
Okay.
the time for the weekday is also the time for the weekend.
Okay,
So
it's
we'll be
9 to
there
5.
full time from morning to the time we end the registration in the evening.
Okay, all right.
Great.
Uno.
Now, I was going to ask the registration portal whether you have the link offhand or
Well, I do have the link,
Okay.
and we're gonna post it on the feed.
so that if, like she said, if you may not have time to come and line up, you can just pre-register
You can pre-register
and just walk in.
yeah.
So it'd be nice for us to provide the portal, the link to the portal.
And to be clear, someone does not have to register through the portal. They can still just
Yes.
walk in
Yes.
and queue and
Yes.
get registered.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. So yes. So that's what you have right there. And then we also have and this we were having a conversation about this before the show, because we know that in North America this exercise is also happening. It's not only in the US, it's also happening in Canada. It's happening in the cities of Toronto, Ottawa in the East Coast, and Vancouver, British Columbia in the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a bit curious, for the sake of Kenyans that live in the US close to the Canadian border. This is an interesting continent. So you have a lot of, you have some Kenyans who live in the US but close to the Canadian border. We're talking places like Seattle, Washington, Burlington, Vermont, and even some parts of Minnesota. Like Minnesota is also very close to Canada. Are they free to cross the border and register to vote in Canada? or must they register in the U.S. missions?
We appreciate the protocols between countries. If you're a Kenyan in US and you have the closest registration center as in Canada, for example, so long as you have the permission, you have the protocols allowing you to cross over to Canada, what we need to register you as a voter is the Kenyan passport. So we'll be registering you wherever you are with the Kenyan passport. So the protocols to cross over is you to deal with. Once you're in Canada or wherever, we'll be able to register you using the Kenyan passport.
Now, when I was registering last week, I noticed that they were asking for certain details, like a physical address in your country of residence. So if you're in Canada registering and you're issuing a physical address that's in the US, that's not going to create any problem.
Physical addresses are just administrative details we're taking. What we just need to register fundamentally is your valid Kenyan passport.
Okay. Omosh.
So I have a question in regards to the actual documentation you guys need. So in some cases, you have folks, at least I know somebody who went to the embassy over the weekend and they registered, they used their passport to register. However, they were informed that had they, say, been registered before using their ID, then they should have been able to be found using the ID. So does that even come into play at all? If, let's say, I voted in the last elections in Kenya and I was registered using my ID, so if I come now to register on this end, will it come up and I won't need my passport, or should I just carry both, or how are you guys sorting that?
There are two things we are looking at in that scenario. One of them is a new registration, that you need a valid Kenyan passport here.
Okay.
But somebody who has ever registered as a voter back home in Kenya, you must have registered either using your passport or your ID. If you used your ID, then we require your ID because your detail was captured using your ID number. So we have to search you using your ID number. So we need your ID number to come. You need to come with your ID number at the registration center. Now, we will search you through your ID number, and then once we get you, then you fill a form to transfer your vote to the Kenyan embassy or consulate where you want to vote in come August 9th. So we need those two documents. One, the ID, the one you registered with, or the passport you registered with, if it's valid or not valid. And then from there, we will transfer you here using your valid Kenyan passport.
So to piggyback on that, if I registered, say, hypothetically, when I went home in December, but I now realize I have the opportunity to vote here, does that mean I still need to come to the embassy so I can transfer my vote from Kenya to here?
Yes.
Okay.
You need to physically present yourself at the registration center, and that is what is stated in the law. And your registration center is here, or one of the consulates or embassies here. So you need to come, present yourself physically, and transfer your vote. Because your vote already is in a register in Kenya.
Yes.
But you need your vote transferred to be able to enable your vote from here.
Okay. So, all right. So, so the transfer is going to be, so is the transfer immediate, meaning that at the point in time when I come, I'll get that form right there and then I'll do it, or it's something that I still have to go into another portal and fill out and then wait? Registration
process in Kenyan law is physical, it's manual, so you just have to fill a form right there. There are various forms that we use for registration for transfer, and all those forms are available at the point of registration or transfer.
Okay, and then also let's be clear, because there are some definitions that I had IEBC officials using when I was registering to vote, and one of those definitions was a new voter, and a new voter defined by IEBC is not necessarily what people understand here in the United States. And then there was, of course, like someone who's voted previously who's changing stations. There are some people who voted in 2007. They don't consider themselves new voters. But IEBC has a different definition. So clarify to people who is a new voter and who is coming to change, like polling stations. Joyce.
Thank you. As per IEBC and as per the law, a new voter is somebody who has never registered when we started the new voter registration exercise.
And when was that?
In 2012.
2012.
So anybody who voted before 2012 and is never registered in 2012 when we started voter registration anew, then that voter, that person is not registered.
So he's a new voter.
It's a new voter.
So the voter roll before 2012 was purged. Anybody who
Yes.
voted in 2007 or before,
Yes.
that register was purged.
Yes.
So you're considered a new voter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And especially when we do boundary delimitation, we just have to create a new register. But because we've never had boundary delimitation or new electoral unit being created after the promulgation of the Constitution,
Mm-hmm.
we still are using the register we constructed after the first boundary delimitation exercise in 2012.
Okay.
So you remember we started a new voter registration exercise after the boundary delimitation in 2012.
Yes.
And that is a register we are building on. So anybody who is not in that register then and is coming to register, we consider that as a new voter.
Okay.
So Ali,
That's-
you're a new voter.
That's some good information.
Ali
no,
had
me,
nev-
I've already registered.
He had never voted anyway. So
I've
Prior-
already-
prior-
hey,
prior-
hey,
prior
never
to-
voted.
Prior
Please.
to Saturday.
Yeah,
Please.
prior to
Prior
Saturday.
to
Prior to
registration,
Saturday,
you are a new.
he
I
had
was a
never
new voter.
voted.
So you're still
Yeah.
a new voter.
He's still
He's
a
the
new-
one who's never voted.
He had never.
He's
I-
talking out of guilt.
You only become a new voter when you register as a voter. So the
So you're a
rest
new. So he's a
belong-
new voter.
Yeah, he was an eligible voter
Yeah.
who never realized that his constitutional right to register as a
Mm.
voter.
Yeah.
So once you registered as a voter, then you're an incoming voter into
Yeah.
the register,
Mhm.
and that's why we're calling you a new
And,
voter.
and the reason why we did not register in for the 2013 election and 2017 is because we were sitting with that anticipation that we were going to be registered, and then we kept being promised, and the promise kept being broken. So it was difficult to figure out, should I go back home and register, or should I wait here? But we are glad that finally
Yes.
the registration is here.
Mhm.
And to anybody who's listening, this is a moment we've been waiting for a very, very long time.
Since 2010.
Since 2010.
I think even
And-
before that.
And we've been talking about this not only on the OneMic Show, in different barazas in the diaspora, in so many places. So this is your moment. I know, maybe it hasn't come in the format that you want.
Yes.
There's some people who want to register at the comfort of their bedrooms. Unfortunately, that option is not there. So I would tell people, especially people who are within those localities, DC,
The
LA,
DMV area.
and New York,
Mm.
you really have no excuse. There's really no excuse because
I can't take off from work.
because it's you work 7 days a week.
It depends on who's asking.
Yeah. So exactly. There's no excuse
Mm.
because this is what's gonna happen. We've been complaining, and actually, Omosh is one of those people who was saying that we are not gonna vote again.
Yes.
So
yeah.
it's been proved wrong. So
Boss,
no. So
until the point and time when I vote, that's when I'll count.